Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe. This is the Cybersecurity 101 Learning Path Networking Module. This is the TCPDump, the Basics Room. Learn how to use TCPDump to save, filter, and display packets. Sounds pretty awesome. Hopefully, y'all are ready to learn something today. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1, Introduction. The main challenge when studying networking protocols is that we don't get a chance to see the protocol conversations taking place. All the technical complexities are hidden behind friendly and elegant user interfaces. You can access resources on your local network without ever seeing an ARP query. Similarly, you would access internet services for years without seeing a single three-way handshake till you check a networking book or inspect a network traffic capture. The best study aid would be capturing network traffic and taking a closer look at the various protocols. This helps us better understand how networks work. This room introduces some basic command line arguments for using TCPDump. The TCPDump tool and its libpcap library are written in C and C++ and were released for Unix-like systems in the late 1980s or early 1990s. Consequently, they are very stable and offer optimal speed. The libpcap library is the foundation of various other networking tools today. Moreover, it was ported to Microsoft Windows as WinPcap. Learning objectives. This room aims to provide you with the basics necessary to use TCPDump. In particular, you will learn how to capture packets and save them to a file, set filters on capture packets, control how capture packets are displayed, room prerequisites. Basically, go in and complete all these rooms before you go and start this room. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. Machine's already started up. Here's our SSH credentials in case we need them. What is the name of the library that is associated with TCPDump? Well, as we saw up here, that's going to be this libpcap library. So copy and paste that down below. And then let's continue on to task number 2, basic packet capture. It says you can run TCPDump without providing any arguments. However, this is only useful to test that you have it installed. In any real scenario, we must be specific about what to listen to, where to write, and how to display the packets. Specify the network interface. The first thing to decide is which network interface to listen to using -i interface. You can choose to listen on all available interfaces using -i any. Alternatively, you can specify an interface you want to listen to, such as -i, then eth0 is the name of the interface. A command such as IP address show or merely IPAS will list the available network interfaces. In the terminal below, we see one network card, ENS5, in addition to the loopback address. You can see that here. All right, so let's go ahead and clear all this out because we're probably going to have to do this eventually. So let's go ahead and do IP A and then S. Okay, and we have the same thing, ENS5 looks like the one we can use here. Save the captured packets. In many cases, you should check the packets or the captured packets again later. This can be achieved by saving a file using the -w and then the file. The extension or the file extension is most commonly set to .pcap. The saved packets can be inspected later using another program such as Wireshark. You won't see the packet scrolling when you choose the -w option. Read capture packets from a file. You can use TCPDump to read packets from a file by using -r file. This is very useful for learning about protocol behavior. You can capture network traffic over a suitable time frame to inspect a specific protocol, and then read the capture file while applying filters to display the packets you are interested in. Furthermore, it might be a packet capture file that contains a network attack that took place and you expect it to analyze the attack. Limit the number of capture packets. You can specify the number of packets to capture by specifying the count using -c count. Without specifying a count, the packet capture will continue till you interrupt it, for example, by pressing the Control C. Depending on your goal, you only need a limited number of packets. Don't resolve IP addresses and port numbers. TCPDump will Resolve IP addresses and print friendly domain names where possible. To avoid making such DNS lookups, you can use the -n argument. Similarly, if you don't want port numbers to be resolved, such as 80 being resolved to HTTP, you can use the -nn to stop both DNS and port number lookups. Consider the following example shown in the terminal below. We captured and displayed 5 packets without resolving the IP address, and you see that sudo TCPDump -i ns5 -c for the count 5 and then -n, and this is what it's going to look like here. All right. Produce more verbose output. If you want to print more details about the packet, you can use the -v to produce a slightly more verbose output. According to the TCPDump manual, man TCPDump, the addition of the -v will print the time to live, identification, total length, and options in an IP packet. Among other checks, the -vv will produce more verbose output to the -vvv will provide even more verbosity. Check the manual page for details. Summary and examples. The table below provides a summary of the command line options that we covered. All right, so you got TCP dump-I interface captures packets on a specific network interface. TCP dump-W file writes capture packets to a file. You can see the rest there, so be sure to review this information. Consider the following examples. TCP dump-I eth0-c50-v captures and displays 50 packets by listening on the eth0 interface, which is a wired Ethernet, and displays them verbosely. TCP dump-I WLO1 w data.pcap captures packets by listening on the WLO1 interface, the Wi-Fi interface, and writes the packets to the data.pcap. It will continue till the user interrupts capture by pressing Control C. TCP dump-I any-nn captures packets on all interfaces and displays them on the screen without domain name or protocol resolution. What option can you add to your command to display addresses only in numeric format? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Remember, -n is going to be our answer here. So if we scroll back up a little bit, it says don't resolve IP addresses, right? And if you scroll back up a little bit more, you can see up here it says that TCP dump will resolve IP addresses and print friendly domain names where possible. To avoid making such DNS lookups, you can use the -n argument. All right, so there you go for that. And I just went ahead and created a password file and stuff so I wouldn't forget that information we saw above. Okay, and I also played around with the TCP dump up here, as you can see there. But let's continue on to task number 3, filtering expressions. And let's see what it says here. Although you can run TCP dump without providing any filtering expressions, this won't be useful. Just like in a social gathering, you don't try to listen to everyone at the same time. You would rather give your attention to a specific person or conversation. Considering the number of packets seen by our network card, it is impossible to see everything at once. We need to be specific and capture what we are interested in inspecting. Filtering by host. Let's say you are only interested in IP packets exchanged with your network printer or a specific game server. You can easily limit the capture packets to this host using host IP or host name. In the terminal below, we capture all the packets exchanged with example.com and save them to http.pcap. It is important to note that capturing packets requires you to be logged in as root or use sudo. And you can see the example here. All right. And if you want to limit the packets to those from a particular source, IP address, or host name, you must use source host IP or source host name. Similarly, you can limit packets to those sent to specific destination using dest host IP or dest host name. Filtering by port. If you want to capture all DNS traffic, you can limit the captured packets to those on port 53. Remember that DNS uses UDP and TCP ports 53 by default. In the following example, we can see all the DNS queries read by our network card. In a terminal below, shows two DNS queries. The first query requests the IPv4 address used by example.org, while the second requests the IPv6 address associated with example.org, and we set here. Okay, and let's go ahead and continue on. In the above example, we captured all the packets sent to or from a specific port number. You can limit the packets to those from a particular source port number or to a particular destination port number using source port and then port number and destination port and the port number respectively. Filtering by protocol. The final type of filtering we will cover is filtering by protocol. You can limit your packet capture to a specific protocol. Examples include IP, IPv, or IP6, UDP, TCP, and ICMP. In the example below, we limit our packet capture to ICMP packets. We can see an ICMP echo request and reply, which is a possible indication that someone is running the ping command. There's also an ICMP time exceeded. This might be due to running the trace route command as explained in the networking essentials room. All right, and this is what they're talking about here. All right, ICMP. You can see the echo request, echo reply, time exceeded, etc., etc. Logical operators. Three logical operators can be handy and captures packets where both conditions are true. For example, TCPDump host 1.1.1.1.1 and TCP captures TCP traffic with the host of that IP address, or captures packets where or when either one of the conditions is true. For instance, TCPDump UDP or ICMP captures UDP or ICMP traffic. They have not captures packets when the condition is not true. For example, TCPDump not TCP captures all packets except for TCP segments. We expect to find UDP, ICMP, and ARP packets among the results. Summary and examples. The table below offers a summary of the command line options that we covered. You got command and you got explanation. TCPDump host IP or TCPDump host hostname. Filters packets by IP address and hostname. TCPDump source host IP or filters packets by specific source host. You can see the rest here. So be sure to take a look at this and understand the information given. Consider the following examples: TCP-dump-I any TCP port 22 listens on all interfaces and captures TCP packets to or from port 22, i.e. SSH traffic. TCP-dump-I WL01 or 01 UDP port 123 listens on the Wi-Fi network card and filters UDP traffic to port 123. The network time protocol NTP. TCP-I80 host example.com and TCP port 443-W https.pcat will listen on ETH0, the wired Ethernet interface, and filter traffic exchanged with example.com that uses TCP and port 443. In other words, this command is filtering HTTPS traffic related to example.com. For the questions from this task, we will read captured packets from the traffic.pcat file. As mentioned earlier, we can use the -r file to read packets or read from a packet capture. To test this, try the TCP dump -r traffic.pcat-c-n. So I'm going to copy and paste this over, put all this stuff out. And let's go ahead and take a look here. Okay, there we go. It should display the first 5 packets in the file without looking up the IP address. Remember that you can count the lines by piping the output via the WC command. In the terminal below, we can see that we have 910 packets with the source IP address set to 192.168.124.1. Please note that we add the .n to avoid unnecessary delays in attempting to resolve IP addresses. In the example below, we didn't use sudo as reading from a packet capture file does not require root privileges. And you can see that here. So let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, let me put a couple spaces in here. There we go. All right. Question time. How many packets in traffic.pcat file use the ICMP protocol? What is the IP address of the host that asked for the MAC address of 192.168.124.137. What host name subdomain appears in the first DNS query? So go ahead and try to figure these out, then come back to the video, and we will take a look. Okay, so let's take a look here. How many packets in traffic.pcap use the ICMP protocol? Well, that's going to be 26. As you can see up here, here's what I put in here. I did the .pcap, then ICMP is going to be the protocol, and then I piped it into WC, and 26 is going to be our answer there. And then what is the IP address of the host that asked for the MAC address of this .137? And to do that, I had to filter on ARP. As you can see there, I tried it a few times, doing some trial and error stuff. And ultimately, I just did this here, .pcap ARP, okay? And then you can see in here that this dots 148 is going to be the answer here. That's the IP address that asked for that MAC address. So let's see here. What host subdomain appears in the first DNS query? And to do that, you can filter on port 53. Okay, as you can see here, .pcap, then port 53-n. And then inside of here, you can see this first one here says mirrors.rockylinks.org. So that's going to be the answer to that one. Task number 4, advanced filtering. And let's see what they're talking about here. There are many more ways to filter packets. After all, in any real-time situation, we would need to filter through thousands or even millions of packets. It is indispensable to be able to express the exact packets to display. For example, we can limit the display packets to those smaller or larger than a certain length. Greater length filters packets that have a greater length or have a length greater than or equal to the specified length. Less length filters packets that have a length less than or equal to the specified length. We recommend you check the pcap-filter manual page by issuing the command man pcap filter. However, for the purposes of this room, we will focus on one advanced option that allows you to filter packets based on the TCP flags. Understanding the TCP flags will make it easy to build on this knowledge and master more advanced filtering techniques, binary operators or operations. Before proceeding, it is worth visiting binary operations. A binary operation works on bits, i.e. zeros and ones. An operation takes 1 or 2 bits and returns 1 bit. Let's explain in more depth and consider the following 3 binary options. You got the AND, you got the pipe, and you have the exclamation point or the bang. And or ampersand, and takes 2 bits and returns 0 unless both inputs are 1 as shown in the table below. Okay, input 1 and input 2, input 1 and input 2 together, okay, 0, 0 together, it's going to be 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Pipe is the OR, so it takes 2 bits and returns 1 unless both inputs are 0. This is shown in the table below, so you got 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, etc. The NOT takes 1 bit and inverts it. An input of 1 gives 0, and an input of 0 gives 1, as shown in the table below. 0, and then not input 1, so not 0 would be 1, and etc. Header bytes. The purpose of this action is to be able to filter packets based on the contents of a header byte. Consider the following protocols: ARP, Ethernet, ICMP, IP, TCP, and UDP. These are just a few networking protocols we have studied. How can we tell TCPDump to filter packets based on the contents of protocol header bytes? We will not go into details about the headers of each protocol, as this is beyond the scope of this room. Instead, we will focus on TCP flags. Using pcap-filter, TCPDump allows you to refer to the contents of any byte in the header using the following syntax: proto, and then open and close brackets, expr colon size, where proto refers to the protocol, for example, ARP, Ether, etc., etc. Refer to ARP, Ethernet, ICMP, IPv4, IPv6, etc. Expr indicates the byte offset, where 0 refers to the first byte. Size indicates the number of bytes that interest us, which can be 1, 2, or 4. It is optional and is 1 by default. To better understand this, consider the following 2 examples from the pcap-filter manual page, and don't worry if you find them difficult. Ether, and then 0 and 1 not equal 0. Takes the first byte in the Ether header and the decimal number 1, i.e. 0000 space 0001 in binary and applies the and binary operation. It will return true if the results is not equal to the number 0, which is all zeros here. The purpose of the filter is to show packets sent to a multicast address. A multicast Ethernet address is a particular address that identifies a group of devices intended to receive the same data. IP, open and close, brackets, you got 0 in there, and 0xf not equal 5. Takes the first byte in the IP header and compares it to the hexadecimal number f, i.e. 0000 space 1111 in binary. It will return true if the result is not equal to the decimal number 5, i.e. 0000 space 0101 in binary. The purpose of this filter is to catch all IP addresses with options. Don't worry if you find the above two examples complex. We included them so you know what you can achieve with this. However, fully understanding the above examples is not necessary to finish this task. Instead, we'll focus on filtering TCP packets based on the set TCP flags. You can use the TCP and then in open and close brackets TCP flags to refer to the TCP flags field. The following TCP flags are available to compare with. You got TCP-SYN for TCP SYN, TCP-ACK, TCP ACK, and then you see the rest there. Based on the above information, we can write the following TCP dump, and then in double quotes, you got TCP, and then inside the brackets here, you got TCP flags, and then equal or equal to TCP -SYN to capture TCP packets with only the SYN flag set, while all the other flags are unset. And you have another one here doing the and TCP -SYN, and then not equals to 0 to capture TCP packets with at least the SYN synchronized flag set. And the last one here, you have and then inside the open and close parentheses, you got TCP SYN, pipe, or TCP ACK. And this says not equals to 0. To capture TCP packets with at least the SYN or ACK flag set. You can write your own filter depending on what you're looking for. So you can get pretty crafty with these things. And question time. How many packets have only the TCP reset flag set? What is the IP address of the host that sent packets larger than 15,000 bytes? So go ahead and try to figure this out and then come back to the video and we will continue on. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, the first one, we need to get the reset flags, okay? And to do that, remember we can reference the filters up here, okay? Or these flags here, TCP reset, okay? And that's what I did here. As you can see, equals to TCP reset, and then piped it into WC, and you should get the answer there, 57. And then this next one here is going to be long, so let's go ahead and clear this out. Okay, and this should be it here, TCP dump -r pcap -n, and then inside of single quotes you can use greater, because up here it had discussed the I think it's called proto filter, yeah, or pcap filter, that's it there. And you can use greater, you can use less, okay, and then 15,000 for the bytes. Press enter, and you have all kinds of information here, but you're going to get this number or this IP address here, this one 85.117.80.53. So there's that one. Task number 5 is displaying packets. So let's go ahead and see what they are talking about here. TCPDump is a rich program with many options to customize how the packets are printed and displayed. We have selected to cover the following 5 options. You got -Q, quick output, print brief packet information, -E, print the link level header, -A, show packet data in ASCII, and then you got -XX, show packet data in hexadecimal format, referred to as hex, -X, show packet headers and data in hex and ASCII. To demonstrate how the above options manipulates the output, we will first display 2 captured packets without using any additional arguments. All right, you can see that information here. -R, 2 packets IP cap here. Okay, the snapshot, et cetera. Brief packet information. If you prefer shorter output lines, you can opt for quick output with -Q. The following example shows the timestamp along with the source and destination IP addresses and source and destination port numbers. Okay, so there's the quick output as shown here. IP address, port numbers, okay. Displaying link level header. If you are on a Ethernet or Wi-Fi network and want to include the MAC address in TCPDump output, all you need to do is add the -e. This is convenient when you are learning how specific protocols such as ARP and DHCP function. It can also help you track the source of any unusual packets on your network. All right, and that's what it looks like here. Displaying packets as ASCII. ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. ASCII codes represent text. In other words, you can expect the -A to display all the bytes mapped to English letters, numbers, and symbols. So this is what it looks like here. All right, displaying packets in hexadecimal format. ASCII format works well when the packet contents are plain text English. It won't work if the contents have undergone encryption or even compression. Furthermore, it won't work for languages that don't use the English alphabet. Hence, we need another way to display the packet contents regardless of format. Being 8 bits, and any octet can be displayed as 2 hexadecimal digits. Each hexadecimal digit represents 4 bits. To display the packets in hexadecimal format, we just add the -XX as shown in the terminal below. So this is what that looks like here. Okay, looks a lot better. Adding -XX lets us see the packet octet by octet. In the example above, we can closely inspect the IP and TCP headers in addition to the packet contents. Best of both worlds. If you would like to display the captured packets in hexadecimal and ASCII formats, TCPDump makes it easy with the -X option. That's what that looks like here. All right. Summary and examples. The table below provides a summary of the command line options that we covered. All right. So be sure to look at this table here and get familiar with the information here. -Q, quick and quiet. Uh, brief packet information. -E, include MAC addresses, etc., etc. All right, question time. What is the MAC address of the host that sent an ARP request? So go ahead and try these out and try to figure out the answer to this question and then come back to the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. And to get this one, you can do the ARP and then combine it with the -A here. It says print packets as ASCII coding. So I did that, and you can take a look and you can see the MAC address right there. All right, so reply, IP address, and then there's the MAC address here. So that should be it for that one. Task number 6, conclusion. In this room, we have covered various TCP dump options along with Wireshark and T-Shark. TCP dump is an excellent tool for better understanding networking protocols. We kept this room level easy. However, we showed much of TCP dump's power, especially when you have to sift through thousands and millions of packets. Ensure you have noted the various TCP dump options covered in this room. So make sure you took good notes here. And that wraps up the video. Hopefully you all learned something here. If you did, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, share the video, comment below your thoughts and opinions and the information shared in the video. As always, thank you all for taking time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you later.